I'm Mark Seifter.
And I'm Linda Zayas Palmer.
And this is Arcane Mark. Hello, everyone.
Hi,
and
everybody.
Welcome to Arcane Mark. Today, we're going to be talking about building deities that grab your player's attention. Specifically for tabletop RPGs. If you're creating deities for some other fantasy purpose, like you're writing a novel or you're trying to create some kind of other kind of game, there are different things that you want to look for in those deities. With a tabletop RPG like Pathfinder 2nd Edition or Dungeons and Dragons or, other Pathfinder 1st Edition, any edition of Dungeons and Dragons, those kind of games where you have like meaty mechanical options that are sort of centered around the deities rather than the deity just kind of only being in the conceptual realm, there's more to creating a deity than there is when all you're doing is just kind of being like, well, this is the goddess of fertility.
Yeah. Also, with tabletop RPGs, you're a lot more likely to have, like, this is the deity of blank this particular thing, as opposed to, this deity is a character who has this type of personality and these general types of interests. Because tabletop RPGs usually have large pantheons that they need to clearly subdivide so that people can build characters that are based around those particular deities without needing to, read or research a lot of material first.
And that's why some of the techniques that make enduring deities from real-world mythology will work to make a great deity for your tabletop RPG. Others don't, and you have to do things differently. To show you all that, we are going to build a deity today based on ideas that are voted on by people in chat who are watching this stream right now as it's broadcasted. So, if you are here live, put your idea for a deity in chat. We already had people from before the show who said that they might be interested in seeing a crab god. And everything somehow converges to crabs during evolution.
Evolutionarily,
so maybe that is true for deities too. But I honestly haven't seen a ton of crab deities in a lot of games and settings, despite the evolutionary carcinization of so many different things.
So that's going to be our default here, since we had people suggest it on a prior episode. However, if anybody who is here live would like to suggest something else or put in your vote for Crab God, then please let us know.
Yes, and we will take the pro-crab god and we will take the anti-crab god and we will determine what deity we're going to be building here today on Arcane Mark. So we have a comment in chat that says we have deities of magic and arcana already in Pathfinder and honestly in D&D in a lot of settings as well. But what about deities of other kind of magical traditions? Would there be a deity of religion? I'm not sure there would be.
Like a deity of divine magic specifically?
I think that divine magic is defined by coming from any deity. So it would be almost kind of weird to have a deity of divine magic, because that would suggest the other deities are not of divine magic. Now, an over deity, like the god of gods idea, that is definitely something that could be done. Like in the Forgotten Realms setting, Alpha Omega is like the over deity of the pantheon of Faerun, for instance. You can definitely have that kind of deity upon the deities as an option.
And in that case, maybe they are sort of the one who is ultimately responsible for the flow of divine magic throughout the world and the ability of other deities to grant divinity, and that's why they...
All right, sure. So we're going to put in Crab God and Over Deity as the options to vote. So anyone who's watching, just put a 1 into chat if you are voting for the Crab God, and a 2 if you're voting for the Over Deity. And depending on which one of those we're going to do, we will build either a Crab God or an Over Deity. Like, if it winds up being a tie, it might be a Crab God that is an Over Deity, but I feel like that's a little weird.
That would be a little complicated, I think, also.
That's a little complicated. All right. So, we have 1 vote for the Over Deity. It looks like the followers of the Crab God have not shown up to support the Crab God.
That's true.
The Crab God is going to have to scuttle off back into the sea.
Woo!
and we are going to work on building an over deity. So, over deities, by their very definition, can wind up being kind of bland and uninteresting characters if you don't watch out. Even Ao, for all that, like, in the time of troubles in the Forgotten Realms setting, like, Ao set off this entire thing by sending the gods into the mortal world, making them become avatars, and it just, like, when the edition was shifting, they did a lot of cataclysmic stuff. But Ao, like, themselves is not a very interesting character. It's just, like, basically this parent figure who just punishes the deities and is super all-powerful.
So, I was thinking that maybe this one created a lot of the other gods, but then, like, has some reason that they're not really that involved in doing, and they're doing something very different nowadays.
And
so they're not being like,
also,
I'm the ruler of the gods.
Is the over deity here, which is like beyond even being just like, oh, I'm the king of the gods, like Zeus, but is like even more above the other deities. Is the over deity even possible to be worshipped by mortals because there's so many levels above them? For instance, Ao in the Forgotten Realms doesn't have anyone who worships them. So it's possible that the over deity is just so high above the deities.
But yeah, like Kaja was saying, maybe the over deity is the one who defined how mortals should worship all the other deities.
So maybe that is the over deity is the one who set all the rules, and even other deities are have to sort of. To them, the over deity is like what a deity is to mortals, although they may not have the exact same relationship because they obviously don't like have churches to the over deity.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
One of the deities is the high priest of
whatever.
the over deity.
Yeah, exactly.
And the others all come in. All the other deities come in on the weekends to
the service
to go to a service to the over deity. It's not going to be
yeah.
exactly the same, but in terms of that, this is sort of the over deity. So this will be like the creator. Probably the over deity is the creator and the maybe like the font of the divine. And so this concept of this over deity that is beyond even the gods, we want to make sure that we have a hook though that can grab interest, because once again, by being so far above our mortal experience, even more so than the gods themselves, it makes this character undefinable, and in some ways that can make the character less interesting and more likely to just blend into the background or be forgotten.
What if they have avatars that are themselves gods?
So,
and the way that like a god might have a mortal avatar, what if they have sometimes splinter off avatars that are themselves gods?
So they have some gods that are aspects of the sort of over deity.
Yeah. And they sort of create and destroy those aspects based on what's needed for cosmic balance.
Okay. So I can see that where basically the creator is the font of the divine, and essentially they created the rules of divinity, deities, and worship that define divine magic and clergy. And they are so far above mortals, they can't be worshipped directly.
Comments.
However, so this creator, this being, this entity, which we can call, we should like come up with a name for it that is useful here. Like, let's see, if this is a good like in Gnosticism, there's this idea of a demiurge who fashioned the universe, for example. So we could use demiurge.
Yeah, that works.
As the name for
Kojo likes the idea of them having like their own pantheon made of their avatars. Like
so demiurge sometimes splinters off aspects into various new deities, which are essentially sock puppets for Demiurge. And mortals can worship them. In fact, even other deities don't really know which among their number are aspects of Demiurge. Demiurge is an incredibly long-term thinker who runs schemes within schemes and has aspects placed in just about every deific faction there is. So basically this is not just some hands-off out from the Forgotten Realms, but is like a scheming over deity that sort of made the rules and just said, okay, you guys play in this playground, but then they were not content to just do that. They decided that they were going to put their finger on the scale by creating all these sock puppets that are constantly doing things.
I think
every once in a while, a deity is revealed to be an aspect of Demiurge, at which point Demiurge withdraws the aspects back into themselves. This often creates major consequences for mortal worshippers of that deity, who can wind up being incorporated into other religions or led astray by evil entities.
Yes.
Because, like, imagine, it's like, hey, our god
was actually a Demiurge aspect.
Our god turned out not to exist. It was just a part of the overgod, and he was a part of the overgod, and now it's gone and no longer answering prayers. Once people figured this out.
Yeah.
So that is definitely interesting.
Are these evil entities other deities that Demiurge created, or is this one of those worlds where, like, there's evil entities that are outside and Demiurge is, like, creating this whole divine system as part of like an opposition to some kind of eldritch horror situation?
I would say we'll just leave it up to people not to have the world entirely predefined. They can decide who. It's probably all of the above. Over the course of history and all these deities that have just disappeared, every kind of evil entity.
Coach, I just suggested the ever-changing as a title.
Yeah,
I put it
up there in the titles. So weirdly enough, this deity would not Demiurge themselves would not actually have almost any of the things that you would put in a Pathfinder or D&D deity. And that is because of the fact that
you would design their avatars as full deities.
That's right. So each of their avatars or their aspects, I guess, aspects would be a deity, and so that means that Demiurge doesn't have. Demiurge may have like edicts and anathemas that the gods follow.
Yeah.
It's the rules of the gods, basically.
So it'd be like gather worshippers.
Gather worshippers to those who pray. To those who induct themselves within your faith and follow the sacraments, offer divine magic or things like that.
And then probably something about like remaining focused on the things that are in your assigned portfolio.
But all of these things are things that the deities are supposed to do for Demiurge. So they wouldn't have like mortal edicts and anathemas because the aspects would.
So should we put like divine rules in here? Like what they expect of the gods? Or something like that?
I'll just say that Demiurge keeps... Well, I think we already said that Demiurge is like kept the rules of divine magic. So that's just sort of in there.
Yeah.
So areas of concern are like cosmic balance and the realm of the gods. Those are areas of concern.
Yeah.
Religious symbol is probably like an infinity.
I would say anathema would probably be like, they probably wouldn't very much like mortals who don't participate in the whole system and don't worship gods.
So,
but they may not care so much.
I think they don't care about anything about mortals, but their anathema is just gods who try to like break the rules that they made for gods.
Unless they unless it's one of those things where like gods need worship power and therefore
maybe the gods do because Demiurge decided
that.
Demiurge is not a deity but is an over deity.
But if Demiurge decided that, it's like, why did Demiurge set things up that way?
I mean, that's part of the mysteries.
Yeah, who knows?
We're not going to reveal everything about Demiurge. It makes Demiurge a less interesting character if everything is known, I think.
Is this one of those things where sacred color is rainbow? Or like white?
The sacred color is probably like a color mortal mind
can't perceive.
Can't perceive.
There you go.
Sacred animal is God.
A sacred animal is God.
Yes, see, it was already on there.
Oh my gosh. That's great.
Wrote it while you were talking about something else.
There we go. My sacred animals are gods. I like gods.
Yes, they like gods. Gods are their sacred animal. Let's see. So they're...
Oh, another option for sacred color is constantly changing.
Yes, which is constantly changing.
Yeah.
You both can't perceive it, and
it's also constantly changing.
Even
so
if you somehow manage to perceive it.
Oh yeah.
Then
there's also like the divine standard or the foundation of divinity.
So, the divine attribute that they have is, we're gonna say, domains. It's supposed to be like strength
or constitution,
or charisma or something, but deities don't care about that, but they do care about domains. Divine font, yes. Demiurge is the divine font. Yes. It's in the titles.
Divine,
it's a font of the divine. It was up there.
Divine sanctification, yes, they provide it.
Divine sanctification, yes. Demiurge is the source of divine sanctification. Okay. Divine skill.
And they were saying, like, just put religion, even though you can't normally.
Divine skill, religion. This is normally not allowed, but neither is worshipping Demiurge. Favored weapon, God. Domains. All. Cleric spells.
Yes.
Any common or all common spells, except they have no clerics.
Some player's gonna break this and be like, I found a thing that lets me take a deity that's not a deity, and therefore I have all domains. Yes, it lets me take
with a spell from a different deity.
Yes.
Also, you can't gain these spells
by any means.
If you worship another deity, or even an aspect. But Demiurge can. Okay. So, Demiurge definitely is a bizarre deity.
There's a comment from Dan. I'm God of War. I'm also my dad's mace. It's a complicated relationship for weapon is God.
Yes, that's correct. That's just what it is. Okay, so we have Demiurge, the creator, font of the divine, and the ever-changing.
Demiurge, the inaccessible.
Demiurge, the inaccessible. Let's see. We'll just put in a PFS note. If a player tries to play a cleric or a follower, a worshiper of Demiurge in your PFS or SFS game,
you're allowed to eat their character sheet.
Eat their character sheet and then ban them for Okay. We put in an organized play note because it's like, you know, on Archives of Deathness they sometimes have organized play notes on
Yes.
that.
I was gonna say, yeah, either that or like put up a random table of all the deities in Pathfinder, then roll a D1000. A D100 isn't enough. That's their deity. That's their deity.
Okay. So
Okay.
I think that this
Favorite weapon, God. Note that gods are not a simple weapon. And so don't qualify for the damage die increase. However, they're very damaging in their own right.
that's true. Okay, so we now created this creator deity who immediately adds ideas for plots, schemes, and like major shakeups.
So
of your
you know what
setting.
I really like about this? We started the episode being like, well, you know, if you're doing a tabletop RPG deity, you're not going to be doing this conceptual thing. You're going to be doing all this heavy mechanical stuff.
I didn't say it was heavy. I just said it would have to have some mechanical components.
And then like all the normal mechanical components here are jokes because like this is the kind of concept that you could really have, not just in a tabletop RPG, but much more broadly in all sorts of media.
I mean, this kind of like almost tricksterish arbiter of balance who just wears many guises.
And then if their guise is ever revealed, then they just disappear.
They just will vanish and be, oh, I guess you got me. It's just like kind of interesting. It could show up in any kind of medium. I could see it being an interesting character.
And like the idea of people being like, if they suspect that Demiurge might be involved in something, like doing grand plots to reveal Demiurge to completely destroy their opponents.
That's right, because if they reveal Demiurge on if they reveal that one of their enemy coalition is Demiurge, then that coalition loses their Demiurge sock puppet. But if no one reveals that one of their people is Demiurge, then they get to keep their Demiurge sock puppet on their side. So,
like, if you suspect that one of your people is a Demiurge sock puppet, you make sure no one finds out and you do not investigate it, you do not verify.
That's right. Because Demiurge will just leave if you do. It's just, like, probably leads to these bizarre power plays of deific politics.
Yeah.
That you have this very unusual
You also
deity.
wonder, like, do deities know if they are themselves Demiurge sock puppets?
The answer to that question will just have to depend on what you think about Cylons in Battlestar Galactica, who didn't know that they were Cylons until eventually they did. If you think that's funny, you could have deities who don't even know they're a sock puppet of Demiurge until eventually, like, the deity of detectives follows a breadcrumb trail, discovers that she is Demiurge, and then immediately disappears back into Demiurge. It's like, what happened to the deity of detectives? Who could have stopped her? No one else was around. She was just all by herself. And then they do an investigation. It's like, wait a minute. I guess she figured out that she was Demiurge because she was so good at being a detective that she was even able to figure out the Demiurge's plots. And then she disappeared because she was Demiurge. Okay, so this is very bizarre, but it's definitely interesting.
Fun.
It was fun. I'm gonna put it into.
Thanks for the idea, Kojo. That was definitely not what I expected
channel.
for this stream.
And it fits all in one post because it's so weird. All right, so everybody, please like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, even if it's sometimes silly, or maybe you like the silly ones better. And then we will have our vote to end up the episode to see what we will do next Tuesday on Arcane Marks. So, your options are as follows. Number 1, building an item here, just like we built a date, except maybe it won't be an over item. Number 2.
This item creates all other items.
This item is the source of all items.
This is the poly item. It can be polymorphed into any magic item in existence.
This item is a magical table. The table of magic items that contains all the items.
Magic item.
Yes.
You roll on the table to determine what item it is.
That's correct. It's a table that if you take a ordinary die and roll it while on that table, then rolling on that table creates any possible magic items out of the table. But anyway, build an item workshop. Ask Arcade Mark, Save My Game Q&A. GM tools, when to roll and how many times, because sometimes you shouldn't roll, and sometimes one roll might be kind of ridiculous to resolve an entire.
How do you decide what appropriate stakes for a roll is?
We're gonna have a war with 50 battles in it, and
Roll
we're gonna
roll
roll 1d20 plus your warfare lore, and that will entirely determine the result of this war, which lasts for 7 years.
Roll a die to see if you can walk down the street without tripping over your shoelace.
Number 4, Arcade Mark Plays. We'll play a game on the computer. Then there's Ancestry Guide for a Battle Zoo Ancestry, and of course the ever popular Other.
So this is for next Tuesday. On Saturday, we're going to be doing an episode about extreme
climates. Ultra extreme. The most
which will include both,
of all
climates. Realistic, real-world climates, and also some of the
void
absurdities
climate,
that you can have.
Where everything is void and it cannot live.
I'm in the plane of fire. Good luck with that.
My climate is everything is on fire. Not just because it's on fire, because it is fire. All right. So, it looks like we have a winner, folks. It's going to be GM Tools, when to roll and how many times for next Tuesday on Arcane Mark. So, thanks for joining us, and may Demiurge be with you, and if so,
may you not ever know.
May you never find out.